Guess who's back, 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 back again, get, shady.
Nah, scratch that. This ain't shady. This is Hafiz Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. He's back like he never left with another season of the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. Yeah, baby. So, Cha-Cha Nation, tell somebody to tell anybody to tell everybody that the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast is back, and we'll be amplifying the African sounds by bringing the best of African music to your ears.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Cha-Cha Nation. Welcome to the first episode of the third season of the Cha-Cha Spotlight series on the Cha-Cha Music Review podcast. My name is Hafiz Nova, aka your musical plug, creator of the Energy Force. If this is your first time listening to the Spotlight series, this is where I get to bring fast rising artists and we talk about their musical journey and everything in between. Without wasting much of your time, let me allow my artist for today to introduce herself.
Hi everyone listening. Hi, Mr. Nova. I'm Tolu Estrella.
All right, so when we were doing the introduction, you said your name is Tolu Estrella. I hope I got that right. Now, obviously, I need to ask. Because that name, I don't know, that name sounds so foreign. So tell us, is that like your real name or your stage name?
It's a combination of my first name and not really what I want to be, but more or less what I was born to be. Tolu is my first name, Tolu Wanimi, and Estrella is a Spanish name. It translates literally to light, right? And I always felt like, man, I was born to shine effortlessly. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm gonna shine, literally. So I had to combine it because at the same time, yeah, there's a future, there's ambition in my head, but I still don't want to forget who I am and my roots and all that. So I had to blend it. So whenever I hear Tolu Estrella, it's like, okay, who you were and who you're trying to be. Don't lose touch of both of them.
All right, now let's talk about the musical journey itself. Take us through that. When did you start music professionally? Take us through that journey.
Okay, so I've typical cliche. I'm sorry it's cliche, but then it is what it is. I've been doing music since I was a child. I remember right from primary school, I used to write songs. I used to just love singing, and it wasn't something that I tried to do. Find myself doing it. So I joined the choir. That's always the first step. I joined the choir. I'm still in the choir, and then I started doing music. At some point, I was like, okay, I want to do music. Even as a child, I wanted to be an artist. But my mom had her reasons, being protective and all, because, there are cons, there are users in the industry, right? And I was apparently too young. And then taking advice from someone bigger in the industry, ID Cabasa, he also gave me reasons why I should wait a bit, right? So I just stuck to doing background vocals, doing my choir thing, and then just keeping up and growing. So it wasn't until last year I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I really want to, and I can't hold back anymore. You get, when there's something burning inside you and then you are bottling it. I couldn't take it anymore. So I was like, oh yeah, now this year, whether or not you guys are ready, I'm dropping this. Dropped my debut single on the 20th of December, and that's the first of many to come.
Okay, 20th of December. All right, before we talk about, your first single and, what inspired your first single, now you were saying, like the normal cliche and all of that, you've been wanting to sing since when your mother's home, you came out of your mother's home,
right.
you joined the choir, and all, and all of that. But
yeah,
in between all of that, at what point would you say, okay, you know what, yes, I know I've always wanted to sing. When we were kids, we only had that one thing we always wanted to do, but probably eventually we grew up and we don't have the opportunity to do that thing. But then again, at one point in time, it just hits us that, okay, you know what, no, this music, it is sealed for life. At what particular point did that hit you?
Like I mentioned, I've been bottling up a lot of things inside me. I was not one of those children who were very expressive. Fun fact, I talk a lot. Then at the end of the day, I still haven't said anything, right? And it was the only way I knew how to communicate. Music, art, basically. So I was like, I have to let out all these things inside me. And then the ginger was from, of course, there's been ginger from way back, but then the one that really hit me was when St. Oasis hit me up, the producer of my debut single, he hit me up and he was like, "Oh, he has this beats that he has been saving for the right person," and he was like, "Nah, I now you go kill guy, take this beat, don't pay me." And I was like, this is me more than I believe in myself. So okay, how about we just do this? And that was it, really.
Okay, so you also mentioned again that you were doing background vocals and all of that. Was that part of something you did in the choir, or that was you being in the studio, seeing how artists were recording and you were doing additional vocals for them?
Yeah, right from the studio. Yeah, I think my first experience was at D20 studio. He used to be my neighbor. So there was this time, and coincidentally, he also attended the same high school that I did. So one way or the other, we met eventually. And then there was this artist recording, Emeka. I think he still goes by that name. Yeah, he was recording, and I happened to be at the studio that day, just watching and learning it. And then he was like, "Okay, I need a female voice on it." And this when he was like, "How far?" Oh yeah, now. They just put me on the spot and I had to do it because I was already gingered. I was like excited, like, "Oh, this is it. Okay, let's see what I can do." And that was experience in the studio, like actually doing background vocals. And since then I'm like, "Oh more, you guys are not ready for this."
All right, so still on the background vocals, has there been any maybe major artists that we might know that you've done a little bit of background vocals for, or that they've sampled your voice in one or two, that we might know of, or maybe basically they are just still artists that are still bubbling on the ground?
Aside Emeka, D20, I did a couple other vocal samples for D20. That was like years ago. Then aside that, I think I've been doing more of like live bands and which was a recent thing though. But then yeah, it's been church back to me. I've been like the church choir girl.
All right. So you're talking about the church choir girl and all of that. And I know when it comes to church, there's always you take the soprano, you take the tenor, or you are the part of the So what part do you take when you are in the church?
Currently, I am a soprano singer. There are times when I check the roster and I'm on the roster for alto, and then the next Sunday or the next Wednesday series, I'm on the roster for soprano, and I just fit into where I need to be. So for me, it's not about sticking to one part; it's feeling the part where you need to feel. I remember there was this time, I think last year or 2 years ago, it was this Valentine service. I did a tenor part for a particular administration. I know the girl killed it. Glory to Jesus. Glory to God.
Okay. I mean, I'm asking this because we are going to talk about, your singles. And I could remember when I first had the single, I needed to, chat up the person that connected me up with the song, shout out to Justina.
Shout out to Justina.
Yeah, shout out to Justina. She was one that hit me up with the song. And I remember the first question I asked her, like, "Sorry, is this person a Nigerian?" Because I mean, number one, the vocals,
just like that.
Yeah, I mean, for real, like the vocals sounds different. The melody of the song also sounds, different, and everything about the song just sounds different. So let's do it like this. First of all, take us through what inspired you or motivated you to do a song. What was the story behind the song? Let's do it like that.
I told you the producer sent Oasis sent me the instrumental, right? And then we agreed to meet up at his studio one particular day. I do better with writing like pen to paper compared to freestyling. If you give me pen and ink self, I will do way better. Do you get? So I got to the studio and he was like, "Have you written anything on this?" I said, "No, I didn't have it. But just give me a book and a pen." Yeah. And then on the spot, the instrumental was playing in the background. And on the spot, I just wrote something. So it was real, it was original. I wasn't trying to do music, I wasn't trying to cap. It was what was flowing through me at that moment. So I think, honestly, I did this song for myself. That's why I named it Reflections. There was no cap at all. It was me literally just reflecting everything I was feeling inside out.
So will you say it's like all those things that you've bottled up inside, you now saw the title. It's time for me to release. And you just released everything.
Exactly. You
All right, so
get
I know.
it's like a time bomb just waiting to explode and put everything out on one beat, man.
All right, so I know you've spoken about, you being in the studio, at least doing background vocals and all of that. So you have experience of what, being in the studio is. But I always feel at the same time, it's different when you are doing a backup song for somebody or when somebody is going to feature you on a song. There's always a different experience to when you are actually recording your own song fully for the first time. So,
definitely.
So what was that experience when you say, oh, finally, I'm doing my own personal song? Tell us, walk us through that experience.
I think, okay, now I just remembered 2 other background vocals I did, and we recorded like videos live. I done some for church. There were some songs we were trying to work on at some point. Then I did one that I was hired to do. I didn't even know who the artist was. Someone just sent me a list of songs and I was like, okay, I'm a backup singer, soprano, score these 2 songs, come to today and we shoot a video. The adrenaline apparently was sick, definitely. But then the day I had to do my own song, it was, and it was like suddenly all my talents were gone. And I'm like, okay, how far shall I go off this light? I had to ask for them to like turn up the light because I think that made me feel better. I wasn't seeing anybody's faces. I wasn't, the expressions or that. There was no pressure on me whatsoever. It was just me, the instrumental, and my mic. So I'm like, okay, just relax and do this and just let it out. That was the only way I could control myself. And it feels completely different when you're doing your own thing, especially waiting so long to do it.
And it's always good when you finish it and you have that satisfaction that, okay, yeah, you know what, I'm finally done. You started music officially. That was December 20th, 2021 rather, because this is a new year. And it might seem like a short space, and I don't know if the next question I'm about to ask can be valid or is valid. But then again, let me
When am I dropping the next single? Is that it?
No, don't worry. We are still going to get. Well, okay, fine. Let's do it like this. You answer that also, but the main question is going to be this: what would you say has been the challenges so far between when you dropped your first single to this present moment that you faced so far, and also when should you be expecting something new?
The challenges so far, I think, honestly, the number one thing that hit me was the fact that the people that had been really onto me to do music, people that I had been thinking would have like my back or give me full support, most of them went MIA. Like after I was expecting like the moment I drop it, these guys they're rushing into me, they're retweeting, but that was not the energy I got. And I realized on the spot, like, okay, at the end of the day, this thing is a personal thing. And you're not entitled to anything, you're not entitled to people's support. You can only do your best. And those who appreciate you show the appreciation. Those who want to support you without you even asking would support. Just look at Justina, for example. I didn't ask her to send you my song. You get, but then it just happened. We met one day, I think it was in church, in the restroom, and I tried to brush my hair, and then she walked down. She was like, "Hi, Tolu." And I go, Justina, how far? Just catching up. And she was like, "Oh, I sent somebody your song, and he said he would like to speak to you." And I was like, like that. So yeah, now. So yeah, those things it can just really hit you and take you off guard. But I had to tell myself, bro, nobody owes you anything. Even if they like your music or not, fine. You don't have to say, oh, because you're my family member, because you're my close friend, you should have been there for me now. Everybody's busy doing their own thing after all, right? Yes, that was the hardest realization for me on this spot. And about the next single, I myself, I don't know the next single, but it will definitely be soon, like the first quarter of this year. Definitely. I already said, like, before we dropped Reflection, Then Oasis and I already working on something else. Keep it in the house. Okay, so let me just give you a sneak peek. It has more of it was an Afrobeat vibe. Yeah, so it's completely different from Reflections.
All right, so now that you mentioned Afrobeat, I was going to talk about, because when I said I listened to Reflection and it sounded so
Yes.
different from what I used to listen to, so I was going to ask, what genre of music would you say you do?
I wouldn't want to limit myself to a music genre actually. If I get the opportunity to do jazz, ooh, I love jazz by the way. If I get the opportunity to do jazz, I would definitely do it. If like someone sends me a trap kind of beat, I will do it. And if I am just randomly writing a song on my own and the tempo in my head is maybe grime and drill, why not? I don't think I would want to limit myself to a particular genre.
When you were doing the introduction, and you were talking about, you were taking us back, and you were talking about how your mom said you were not ready. Then you also mentioned ID Cabasa somewhere in between. So I was wondering, okay, number one, is she a Bariga girl? Because we all know, Cabasa is a lot of Bariga and all of that. Then if not, number two, what is the connection between and Cabasa and all of that?
Burger girl. For the past few years, I have been, yes, undeniably. If I need to switch to burger right now, you would blink like, who is this guy? Do I know you? I would switch up effortlessly, and then I'll come back to my calm, soft girl lifestyle once I'm done, if need be. Yeah, my mom and ID Cabasa, they've been friends for a long time. Even I don't even know how long. I just know that at the time when I started to recognize him as ID Cabasa, yeah, I was in primary school. Yeah, I just knew, oh, there was this uncle in my church who was really nice, who was always on the keyboard. And of course, I always want to be around the person that is always on the keyboard because this is music, man. Do you get? Yeah, just observing and learning unconsciously. Over the years, I've grown closer to him because, I mean, this is like golden opportunity that life gave me at the time. Imagine growing up loving tennis or something, and then you just happen to know what's her name, know someone big that actually does tennis. It's like a huge sign from the universe, however they say it. Say, I'm grateful. I'm grateful I actually know him. I'm grateful. I don't know how he met my mother. I don't know how my mother met him, but I know I'm grateful for that connection.
So let's leave the whole music thing aside, and let's try to bring out the whole Bariga-ness in you this time around. So tell us, if it wasn't music, what would you have, end up doing if it was not music?
If it wasn't music, I would probably be on the other end of the mic right now. Probably be on the other end of the table right now. I've always loved to do radio and podcasts. I haven't tried to do podcasts. I've just been loving it and been observing for a long time now. But I have delved into radio at some point. I attended a media school. I did 2 levels. Between those 2 levels studying, I got the opportunity to intern at a radio station. I interned at City FM at some point. Just recently, last year, I think October, November, I also interned at Real TV channel. Yeah, so I've been trying to find other expressions, other ways to like find my mojo. At some point, I did just 1 month into Real TV, and I got the opportunity to co-host live shows to see how production works. So yeah, if it's not music, I would definitely do something media inclined. If not radio, if not TV, then I'm coming for your spot.
Are you still in school? Are you a student, or you done with education? What's up with that?
Yeah, I've not been in school for a while. I've just been trying to get my life together, decisions, decide how things will go. And then yeah, now I think I'm ready for school now. I'm ready to go back to get my BSc because the media school I mentioned that I attended, you only get a diploma certificate. And it's like a postgraduate thing. It's like a professional course. So imagine you walking into let's say sound system right now, have a postgraduate course on the bad boy. I have experience in it doesn't make sense. It's almost incomplete. Like, why do you even have a postgraduate professional certificate, a BSc? So this year, yeah, I'm shooting my shots to different universities. I haven't decided which one I'll be attending yet, but definitely this year I have to resume education back.
Talking about shooting your shot to so many things, what I like asking, every artist that I bring onto the podcast, whether male or female, because Rihanna said, you can never tell when you find, love. And if people should find love on my podcast, hey, it's a good thing. So are we training out there
now? A matchmaker.
You can never just tell, you can never just tell. Anything can happen. So are we trading out there that, okay, you know what, though? She's single and she's searching, she's single and she's not searching,
No, I'm single. It's not a guesswork. It's either this or that. I'm single. I've been single for, I think, since 20. Wow, I'm thinking about it. Wow. Such a bad I've been single for I think 2 or 3 years now.
What are your favorite meal, or what is your favorite meal?
My favorite meal. If you had asked me this question like a year ago, I would have said spaghetti. But since I've been living around Akoka, because for a while now I've been staying around Unilag, I am tired of spaghetti already. I'm sure I've had more spaghetti than any Italian. Like, before you blink, spaghetti here, spaghetti there. It's not my best food again. I'm sorry. At the moment, I just want to be free from spaghetti. I don't even know what else I like. I need freedom.
So, let's go back into the music and let me just ask. I mean, for someone like you that you like a lot of music and you listen to a lot of music, there should be some, how am I going to put it, music artists you look up to in Africa, and the world at large. So let's say should I say, like maybe who your role model are, who are your top 3 artists, or those artists that generally, inspire you and motivate you, and those ones that you look like, okay, you know what, in my lifetime as a musician, I must work with this or this or this or that.
It would be very hard for me to say I have a favorite artist at this point because I don't think I have one, honestly. Most times when I listen to music, for the longest time I didn't even have a music app on my phone. I just stream straight from YouTube. So I search based on my mood, based on what I want to hear at the moment, based on what I think I need to hear at that moment, based on the energy that's like coming from me. I just stream, and that's how I listen to music. I keep streaming, and you know how YouTube is, suggestions keep coming up. Yeah. So I don't think I've paid attention to an artist per se. I just pay attention to the art. So yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, I have to mention I love Drake. I don't know how, but I love Drake. I remember as at 2013 when I was in, as at 2010, 2011 when I was in junior secondary school. For whatever reason, I was listening to Drake when my mates were still on, maybe just a liver or something. It was just different for me because I like content. I like how when an artist can make lyrics and delivery just blend. You get, so it's not like I want a particular artist to be my fave. If you deliver, if I like your content, if I like the music I'm hearing, if I like the sound I'm hearing, and they're all blending, there's nothing extra, there's no noise. I mean, of course, you are going to get into my bucket list of artists, whether or not you're Christian, whether or not you're different from me, like mentality wise. When it comes to music, music is art. Even if you're different, we would find a way to just think when the right sound comes on, when the right feature just comes on. Yeah.
Right. So, which Nigerian artists are you looking forward to work with that you say, oh, maybe I want to collaborate with this?
Say no more. Thames. Say no more. Thames. If I see her anyway, if I mistakenly see her on the streets of Lagos. I'm going to hug her, oh, make she no vex. So I was just hug her without her permission. I loved her so much. Now she's completely different from what I had been hearing back to back from Nigerian artists, and I was like, okay, this is the girl. This is the babe. Surely Thames, full stop. Like, period. Let's not talk too much.
All right, so before I allow you go, I mean, obviously we'll be talking about your music talent, how you started, and all of that. It's going to be like a disservice to not allow the audience have a feel of what you can do musically and that sweet vocal of yours. So definitely, let me allow you to do a little bit of
You're going to put me on the spot.
Definitely, I have to put you on the spot.
Okay, so my life was a great masterpiece, was colorful and unique of all. It became more colorful when I decided to join the pit. 'Cause I've had this thing for you since I first met you. I thought black was meant to highlight and make bold. But the more what am I doing? Made room for the light. Let's start the road to me. How do I get back my life for what you are? I swear I don't wanna, but I own this big. I own my life. I'm begging. Please, 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 Mr. Black. Let me. Please, 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 Mr. Black. Let me.
Thank you very, very much for doing that, and thank you for being on the podcast. But before I allow you go, any last word for your fans, and if they want to reach out to you, if there's anybody listening to this podcast and they want to reach out to you, how can they connect to you, especially with your music? On what platforms are your music and your social media handle, and any last word to your fans in general?
Okay, my social media handles are Tolu_Estrella. My Instagram, TOLU_ESTRELLA. Same thing for Twitter. Instagram, Twitter, Tolu_Estrella. And last words for my fans. I see you trying. Just keep fighting. It's not a race, it's a journey. On every moment, I see you trying. Just keep fighting. It's not a race, it's a journey. On every moment in life is a journey. It's not a race. And even if it's a race, even if it's a competition, at some point you should be in competition with yourself, with who you were, with someone else, not with who you're trying to be. You should be in competition with who, and just keep trying to be better. Just keep trying. It's a race. It is a journey. So own every moment.
All right.
Love you guys.
Thank you very much, Tolu Estrella, for being here. You can check out
I have to teach Spanish after this, man.
Seriously, you have to teach Spanish, man. So me, I'm a local boy from Lagos State, so
I'm a burger girl from Lagos State too, man. The Estrella name, I found it on Google. Let's not cap.
All right, so yes, you can check out our singles titled Reflection. It is on all major streaming services. You can check it out and hear what she has to offer. So yes, Tolu, once again, thank you very much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and members of the Chacha Nation, I have come to the end of the first episode of the Chacha Spotlight series on the Chacha Music Review podcast. This is the third season. I will be back with you with another artist. Till I come back your way, my name would always remain Afis Tonoba, aka your musical blog creator of the energy force.
Yeah, cha-cha time, two-time for the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Rockin' with the best, the cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. Alayela with cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang. What's in my body, cha-cha gang. Give me the cha-cha gang, cha-cha gang. What's in my body?